So here we are at Unit 12. Now in these last 3 weeks we're going to be covering the time period of the early 1900s all the way to today. So we'll start out today, we'll be covering the modernism, and modernism goes from about the early 1900s to say 1960, and after that we'll be covering on the next 2 weeks we'll be covering what is called the postmodern period, and that's after 1960. So this week in the readings and in the lecture, as I said, we're going to be covering the early 1900s up to about mid-1900, and during this time period there's a lot of change, a lot of new things, discoveries in science and technology, industry, and a lot of changes in society. And because of this, there were a lot of changes in the art world, a lot of movements coming one right after another, kind of reflecting some of these things that were happening in history at the time. And which brings me to the movie that I picked for you this week that there's a link to, and it gives you a good idea of the art movements of the time fitting into history. Okay, so there are many movements at this time following one after another. There's the Fauves and the German Expressionists, the Cubists, Dada, Surrealism, Abstract Expressionism. And during this time there are a lot of artists that we think of when we talk about the modern period. We have Matisse, and we have Picasso and Beckmann and Bernard, all big names in the art world. Also, for this week, we will have an extra reading, and it's called "The Avant-Garde in Kitsch," and it's a essay by Clement Greenberg, and he was a really big art critic in the early 1900s to about mid-1900. It was very important and influential. And then you're going to be, after you read the article, you'll be doing a discussion. Alright, so one more thing you want to be aware of. If you look in this unit, you'll see down below it says items to be studied for the final exam, items to be studied. So you might want to check that out. It's kind of really important. Okay, well, thanks a lot, and have a good Thanksgiving. Bye now.